Are we live?
We're live.
All right, you're clearly not going to use that. Welcome back to another installation of Keen Ramps World Headquarters YouTube. Today we're at Keen Ramps World Headquarters in Long Beach, California. Today we're kind of switching it up a little bit.
Product placement, dude.
Thanks. We're just going to be talking about what makes Keen Ramps different from its competitors, other companies that are sort of in our field, concrete companies. That's another question we get asked a lot. Do we work with concrete? Do we want to eventually work with concrete? People ask all the time if I want to get involved in building Street League, for example, or X Games, things like that. And then just really talk about what I think differentiates us from other ramp companies out there.
I know one of the biggest differences,
Okay, let's hear it.
the way you set your coping.
That is a big one.
That's like a very important one for skaters.
That is a big one. A lot of other people that build ramps with the coping, they'll kind of just drill holes into the sides of it. It's called toenailing. So that's fine, it's secured on the edges, but there's nothing across the middle. So if it's an 8 or a 12-foot wide mini ramp, over time that middle is gonna have wiggle in it. And then it's gonna start bowing up and creating a void between the surfacing and the coping. So you're not gonna have a consistent bump throughout. The other thing with coping is you gotta make sure you use thick enough steel, schedule 40, schedule 80, whatever it might be. Some people will just use like the equivalent like a fence post. It's like a 16 gauge on the inside. The thinner it is, the more it's gonna bend, the more it's gonna dent. It's not gonna grind as well. So one of the biggest things I think of why a lot of people prefer to work with us is because I am kind of a skate rat through and through. I grew up skateboarding. It's something that it's just taken over my brain since a young age, and it's all I think about and talk about. And then everybody who's ever worked here has an appreciation for skateboarding, whether they're an avid skateboarder still pursuing an amateur professional career, or they grew up skating and have just a deep appreciation for it. That's sort of the ethos of the brand, because we're not just making a product to sell a product. We're making it so that it performs the best for us because we care about it. So we're all sort of on the same page of why we're doing what we're doing. So we don't care as much about the money essentially, which I think is a big thing. That translates to a lot of people that choose where they want to spend their dollar.
Right. One important thing that I've always noticed is the branding of Keen Ramps versus other skate ramp companies. When I come in here, or when I met you, I felt like I was going into a skate shop. And I think that feeling is super important to a core diehard skater, to have that sort of connection. It doesn't just feel like this corporate hodgepodge of a thing. Because I've asked you about like scaling and things like that, about scaling your business, and I think you've told me you're really big on like scaling at like a slow and steady but upward
conservative
pace.
level.
I think that's like important too, not just for like financial reasons, but also like branding in general and brand
longevity, sustainability of the brand.
Yeah, you blow up too quick, you're just gonna like fall right off. Are those all things that you like intended to do, or do you think that's just like a byproduct of the fact that you are like a skater?
So I think it's a little bit of both. So on the one hand, a lot of the things that I did are very deliberate. The slow and steady growth is something I kind of learned from my dad, who has a vending company. He puts like snack and soda machines at businesses, and then his guys go and fill them, and they take the money and fill them again, that kind of thing. He was always telling me to be really weary of getting too big too fast. You know, don't bite off more than you can chew. Anytime you want to level up to the next tier of growth, like wait until like the wheels are about to fall off, you know what I mean? Like you saw me at my old shop.
Yeah.
Bursting from the seams. It was just like, we outgrew that place probably 2 years before we even moved. And I even like got it in my brain that we were ready for a next step.
Right.
So I do that with everything a little bit. As far as the feel of, it feels like a real skate brand, skate shop, that was intentional, one, because I've always just loved black and white with like one color hit. And then our logo was done by Austin, England, as well as the mural that's out front, as well as that board graphic, the ramp rat one. And he's a tattoo artist, skate rat through and through. When it came time that I felt like I needed some sort of brand identity and someone to create a logo and like a little house of imagery that goes with it, I chose him, and I love it. And I haven't strayed from it. You know, it's been over 10 years that I've run with Austin, England stuff. And then anytime I want to do a new run of, let's say, merchandise, you know, I'm strictly choosing skate-centric artists. Another big thing that I think really sets us apart is how much I sort of get behind the brand and am the face of the brand. Just trying to make it personable. It's much easier to identify with a person than it is like a big brand, you know? I want to make sure that people that follow us and are interested in viewing our content, you know, see all the characters. They see me and you and the people we skate with frequently, like the Santanas and Sibo and Dylan Whitkin, seeing the guys here and just like the little banter. Like I want people to really know what's going on and who all is behind it. Whereas a lot of other skate ramp builders and brands, I feel like just try to show off the product. And I did that in the beginning, just thinking that's how you're supposed to run a brand, or if you're whatever you're selling, you post pictures and videos of what you're selling. And over time, I've realized that yes, it's important to clearly show what you are selling, but it's also important to show the people and the energy and the vibe behind it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's been really important, to just show people what we're all about, pulling back that veil and letting it all out there and just being really vulnerable, making people feel like they're here with us.
I think the biggest thing too, to my surprise, was all the other shit that you did with like contests, trade shows, build outs at just random events or whatever. With all the trade shows and the extra events that you do, that adds to the authenticity and the personality of the brand. Those trade shows are for like shoes, decks, and all these like hard good brands, and you're like a ramp brand that's there. And I've been to a bunch of trade shows. I've never seen like a ramp brand at a trade show. You know what I mean?
When I decided I wanted to dedicate my life to the skateboard industry, I didn't want to just quietly make a product. I wanted to be involved in it, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to skate with these guys.
You're very involved in skateboarding in general. You're not just a guy selling a product in skating.
And that's always been the goal, right?
Yeah.
You know, because growing up as a child, I wanted to be a pro skater, and now I've found this unique way to carve out a path. I get to reap the benefits that pro skaters reap. A lot of that has happened because anybody who reaches out for something, whether it's a small skate shop that's doing, let's say, a 4th of July barbecue, I'm always going to find a way to help them. I try to never, ever say no to opportunities like that. And then same with working with brands. Whether I'm making a lot of money and it's for like a big corporate thing or a movie or something, or whether it's literally for free, which is the case sometimes, I'm going to put in the same amount of effort. And I feel like I'm genuinely contributing something towards the longevity of skateboarding. I want to make sure everybody is happy and excited to be working in skateboarding. It's a huge privilege, and I remind myself of that all the time. And my wife is really good about reminding me if she ever catches me like kind of complaining about things. She's like, calm down, you're literally living your childhood dream.
You've helped me realize, like, because I get the same thing. I mean, I've got also a really weird pathway niche carved out, and like you've also helped me keep that in check for me too.
The concrete thing, it's a totally different medium. If I'm an artist, my preferred medium is wood. I like the nature of working with wood. I have worked with concrete. I don't like it. It's too messy, it's too slow, it's too permanent, it's too expensive. I respect the hell out of people that use it and work with it, but I want to stay in my lane. So if I did get an opportunity to, let's say, build the X Games.
That is another thing I think that sets you apart, is that you know what your lane is and you stay in it and you try to improve on your lane rather than just going into other lanes and trying to be like, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. You're just like, no, I'm this guy and I'm going to improve my craft.
Yeah, I mean, we build wooden skate ramps, whether they're custom courses or elaborate art pieces, or they're just a quarter pipe. Like, that's what we do. Like, say I got that opportunity. Someone's like, do you want to bid X Games? We want a 5,000 square foot park and we want it to be concrete and this and that. I would find somebody to partner with to handle the concrete side of it. I would, be like, oh, we can make the forms, we can help with the staging, we could do rails. When stuff like that comes up, I do like to have people that we work with that I can pass it to. Maybe I get a little finder's fee, or maybe I just say, nah, screw it, I didn't have to do anything, I just connected the dots. Those favors go a long way, because then Kyle might do the same thing for me. I'm gonna play nice, stay in my own lane, not drag anybody's name through the mud. I'm gonna stick to what I know. And I remember in the early days of starting Keen Ramps, I used to pay attention to what other people were doing. I would go on California Skate Park's Instagram. I would go on competitors' websites. Oh, I need to keep tabs on what they're doing. And as time has gone on, I've noticed that the less I pay attention to what my competitors are doing, the more we flourish, because we're more individualistic.
Yeah.
And we are that much more of our own brand and identity.
You're not allowing outside influences to like corrupt your decision making.
Exactly. And then now fast forward to present day, when I do find myself doing it just out of curiosity, I'm like, oh, I haven't looked at their Instagram in like a year. Pull it up and I'm like, they're mimicking what we're doing now.
Oh, crazy.
And it's so cool, so
Yeah.
flattering. It's been a fun journey. I've learned a lot along the way about myself, about doing business, about the skateboard industry as a whole, and I really can't imagine my life any other way.